Welcome back to Shark Movie Mafia, where I watch bad shark films so you don't have to. Today's film is honestly not that bad. I know, I feel like I'm betraying my brand just by saying that, but it really was watchable and I would watch it again. But it deserves a place on our list of bad shark movies for the simple reason that the CGI is pretty janky. Our film opens with Emma, who is, I think, an oceanographer who stole a submarine pod from her employer.
Why are you so nervous?
Oh, I don't know.
For whatever reason, she stole it so she could go and chase this whale pod with her co-worker. Up in the sky, some Tom Cruise wannabe is like shouting out a bunch of military jargon.
Roger that. Speedbird doing 1 heavy turn left, next into ramp.
And drops something called an IFAS into the water.
What?
A low-frequency active sonar.
This annoys Emma because apparently they're illegal. They mess with like sonar rays that whales use to navigate, and indeed it does this, and the whales start slamming into a nearby ice shelf by way of sort of suicide. And then we get this moment where the ice shelf kind of breaks apart on the inside, but it's a bit weird looking. Like, do you remember in Superman when Zod and co got like banished and there was that like really cartoony piece of glass that they were in? Same energy. For whatever reason, even though these creatures are like godlike in size, like nothing we've ever seen before, Emma and her co-worker managed to miss it despite the fact that they are right in front of it. The octopus suddenly makes it all the way over to Japan because we were in Alaska a few minutes ago, so do the math, I don't know. Anyway, so we've got this oil rig where a bunch of, seems like Australian people are working, and the octopus then does like a bit of a, you know, release the Kraken moment, killing almost everyone on board, but more about the survivor later. The only reason I can imagine that the octopus did this is because he heard that guy talking about co-workers peeing on each other.
Yeah, customs. We have customs in the States too. Like urinating on coworkers?
That was just weird. Oh, by the way, this octopus, like, if you watch this film, keep an eye on its size, because it seems to change, like its tentacles seem to change size all the way through the film. In the beginning of the film, it looks a little bit stubby, like it's just kind of like floating along and that's it. But whenever it has the requirement to use those tentacles, it suddenly grows by about 5 times the length. So we are now in California. Emma has gone to the scene of a beached whale. She gets to the beach and she notices there's some guys in suits looking all shady.
Hey, what's with the suits?
She finds out nothing, and she then gets fired at some point for stealing the vehicle in the first place. So later on in the night, she kind of sneaks her way into where there's all these tents and the beached whale is being kept. For some reason they just let her in with some random ID that she flashes them.
Oh, hey, I'm here to see the body.
She goes in and then discovers what looks like a massive shark tooth. The next scene we are treated to is that the shark now gets his let's kill everybody scene, of course, and I'm pretty sure that the film's entire CGI budget was spent on this scene. Worth it. We've got a bunch of people on a plane, it looks like they're coming into land, and then there's like a crack of thunder or something, and the plane kind of shakes a bit, and the hostess is saying, like, don't worry, it's just like an air pocket or something like that. He just sort of leans forward and he's just kind of like, huh?
Holy shit!
Oh my God!
It ate the plane. There's so many questions I have here. That plane must be 30,000, if not at the least 20,000 feet up in the air. How in the hell did nobody notice it going up there? I have no other response to this scene other than I need sharks on a plane yesterday, please and thank you. So now we have our second main character called Shimada. Shimada, again, he's another like oceanic based scientist of some sort, and he works for some institute in Japan.
I'm Dr. Shimada with the Oceanographic Institute.
He goes into this room where the sole survivor of the oil rig is, and it's heavily guarded. There's guns everywhere. The guy is like scared shitless. He's absolutely cacking himself.
How can they fucking say that when I'm sitting right here?
Try to stay calm.
Calm.
Shimada just comes in and sits down and he's just like, tell me what you saw. I don't quite understand why Shimada's doing this. He's not military. He's literally just a scientist.
My family thinks I'm dead and these fuckers won't even let me call them.
I'm a scientist.
This is the only scene we get with this survivor, and that's it. Like, I don't know why any of this happened. I think it was just to introduce Shimada in some, like, shady way, but forget everything you've just seen because it has nothing to do with the rest of the film. So she then calls our next main character, a really cool Irish guy. I really, really liked him, called Lamar. He's an ex-Navy pilot, and he is like her former professor or something. I'm not actually sure specifically what he did or does or whatever, but she calls him, he kind of gets all excited, and then he comes to see her. Right, so remember the shark tooth that Emma stole from the beached whale? She takes that home and does some really cagey looking science experiments with lots of brightly coloured liquid, and in this film there is an absolutely insane amount of holding one's face very close to a test tube. Dumb ways to die. So she does something that changes the colour of one of the test tubes of liquid, and because of that she deduces that it is indeed a megalodon tooth. Don't ask me when they got in touch because I don't think we ever find out, but then Shimada also comes over with Lamar and they all kind of meet together to discuss this apparent megalodon in the ocean.
Pleased to meet you.
They get like a CD from, if you remember, the co-worker at the beginning who just disappeared. He said, nope, I'm not part of this anymore. And that's where they find out that there was a megalodon and a giant octopus.
Megalodon.
What, giant squid?
Octopus.
But more on that later, because right now we're over to a naval destroyer somewhere off the coast of California. This, like, you know, gruff military vet person is screaming orders at his crew to kind of shoot all the big guns.
Don't let up! Send that big bastard down for the deep sea!
And the shark manages to somehow take down a US naval destroyer. Let me just repeat that. A shark took down a naval destroyer. Right, so that's it. That's the whole scene. But now we're back again with Emma, Lamar, and Shimada. And they're having a sleepover. I don't know why. Nobody is sleeping in a bed, and yet this house clearly has about 4 bedrooms. I don't know where Shimada slept, but Emma got the couch. But out of nowhere, these guys with guns and laser sights just come in.
Oh, morning.
This next guy, he's not really meant to be like a bad guy, he's just meant to be a general antagonist. Someone to kind of like throw spanners in the works at regular intervals, that kind of thing.
Don't look so worried, Dr. Shimada. You're not going to Manzanar.
You should be smiling.
He looks like a used car salesman. I don't understand. Who dresses these people?
I don't know what happened.
He is a government official of some kind. It turns out that their arrest is not really an arrest. They need their help. So now we get another lab montage. Dumb ways to die. So many dumb ways to die. Eventually, they mix something that looks like really kind of cool and radioactive. Here's the funny thing, I can't remember what that stuff is called, but it begins with an F, and I think it's called fluorine or something like that. They use in eye surgery. It's like a really benign, safe liquid. That's all it does. So I'm not quite sure what it's telling us in this scene. So because it's a TV movie, it means that we need some shoehorned romance. Everyone's been unsafely sciencing all day long, and now Shimada and Emma are kind of like sitting at a desk making like their eyes at one another, and then out of nowhere they kiss, and then they go have sex in a cupboard. Later on, spoiler alert, she calls him her friend. Oof. So while they're being all sexy in the cupboard, this somehow brings them onto the conversation of pheromones, because I don't know about you, but when I'm having sex, I always talk about pheromones. What else are you going to talk about?
What?
Pheromones.
So they decide it will basically attract these two completely different species into the same space. Lamar decides that because they've been encased in ice for like millions of years, that they're going to be horny as hell.
Those guys have been frozen in ice for millions of years. Wouldn't you be a little horny?
Not for each other, Lamar. That's not how it works. It's not how any of this works. After the sex, we get more science. And everyone's kissing Emma suddenly for some reason. Shimada now goes back to Tokyo to deal with the octopus who's still over there, whilst Emma and Lamar stay over here to deal with the shark. Shimada's plan is essentially to lure octopus back to the United States so they can deal with them together. We get our third Or is it force? I can't remember. We get our 4 bajillionth unsafe science montage. And Alan, he suggests using a nuke. No, Alan, no. No. I'm getting a bit confused about the actual span of time that has passed in this film, because it feels like there's about 3 days worth of stuff going on in this next bit, but it seems to only take place in like maybe 24 hours or just over that. Bear in mind what I've just said about all the passage of time being weird and the fact that Shimada has just left to go back to Tokyo. The next scene, it seems that there's a Navy pilot trying to get photographs of the octopus, but what's really weird here is that, as we remember, Shimada was in Japan trying to bring the octopus over just a moment ago. The octopus seems to be closer to American waters. The crusty guy is trying to get him to go lower and lower and lower to try and get the better sort of image.
Going any lower would
have him do the job that he's been paid to do.
And then Lamar starts screaming at him to like kind of climb back up because he's too low.
Pull up! What? Get him to pull up now!
A tentacle then comes up and bitch slaps this words jet out of the sky. And by the way, I absolutely love how they hired this woman to play this character purely to have another female in the film. There are no women in this movie. It's an absolute pork show. It's ridiculous. Emma is now in a completely different location. I don't know where they are. I've lost track of everything. Emma is now wearing like a military looking shirt, and so is Lamar. Emma and someone else are going to go plant the trap, which is going to be like the pheromone trap that's going to lure the shark in and let them do their business.
You two lovebirds want to quit jerking off and drop that thing?
When they go to plant the trap, of course, Mr. Shark shows up and he's all pissy because of reasons. He starts chasing them. They narrowly escape and manage to place the trap, but then it all goes wrong when the shark jumps out of the water and eats the Golden Gate Bridge. This poor woman, she looks so uncomfortable. Everything smells like Lynx Africa. They go back up to Alaska, back to the ice shelf, iceberg thing to do the job and get the shark and octopus where they want. So before they kick off their plan properly, there is like a sort of fond farewell scene between Shimada and Emma. Lamar says a quick goodbye as well, and then he buggers off to give them some privacy. It's just a lot of staring. There's a lot of that like TV staring in this movie where everyone's just kind of like...
And I look at him, and he looks at me, and I look at him.
Shimada is now back in American waters, and he has brought the octopus with him. All of a sudden, Shimada's submarine is attacked by the octopus. The CGI in this scene made me laugh because it's so janky. It looks like the octopus is trying to open like a jar of pickles. So just before the octopus kills Shimada and all of his crew, the shark kind of wiggles in and attacks it. But this fight scene is weird. They keep reusing the same footage over and over again. I don't get it. It made me mad. The shark and the octopus eventually wiggle each other to death because that's all the CGI they had time for, and they locked in a fight. They sink to the bottom of the ocean, and that's that. If they had just stretched that little bit more for a budget, they could have really made something of this scene without spending like, you know, hundreds of millions of dollars. But they didn't, and that's why we're here. So now it's all over. Everyone's just kind of gone back to America. Shimada's just decided he's going to stay in the US. Can you do that? I don't even know. And they're having like a bit of a tender moment, just sitting on the beach in their jeans, as you do. She doesn't hesitate to remind him that she's not like other girls.
Well, you know I'm not the stay-at-home and cook kind of gal, right?
I don't know how we found them, but Lamar just kind of pops up with a red folder.
Oh, no, you have that look.
Telling them how he found something in the North Sea and they should go look at it. The end! There are like 4 films in this franchise, and weirdly enough, despite the fact that that seems to lead into the second one, these people aren't in the second one. It has nothing to do with anything that goes on in this franchise. That being said, I cannot wait to see the rest of them because I haven't actually watched them yet, but they look so cheesy and they get worse and worse and worse as they go, as nature intended. I can't talk today. I think all the hair dye has seeped into my brain, Cabin in the Woods style, and I'm doomed to just drool on myself forever. I really hope you enjoyed that, and if you did, don't forget to subscribe, leave a comment, leave a like, tweet me with emojis, I don't even know, do what you like. Let me know what you think, and I'll see you next week. Bye!